What's up, Tube? It has been a long time since I have touched this guy, and it's because work has been nuts busy, which is really crazy with what's going on in the world right now. With so many people not working, I have never been busier. So I've had virtually zero time to work on this thing since April, and really haven't done much. However, I am working on one of my work trucks, and it's an Isuzu NRR, NPR, NQR. They're all basically the same. It's a 4-cylinder diesel, and I brought it into the shop just to have a service done, oil filter, oil change, filter, all that stuff, air filter, clean it, service it. And they noticed there's a couple codes. One of them was a broken sensor, no big deal. The other one was one of the glow plugs was bad. So the labor to replace 4 is the same as the labor to replace 1, basically, because once you pull all the stuff out of the way to get to 1, you might as well do all 4. So I said, go ahead, do all 4. Well, they had my truck for a week, and they broke off 2 of the glow plugs and could not get them out because they're seized. Let me show you. So this guy right here is a brand new glow plug. Obviously, the electrical part is right up here. It threads in the block right there. The one that they pulled out came out like this. It basically sheared off right at the threads. And let me show you what it looks like in the motor. So, I've had to pull part of the fuel system apart. There's part of the cooling system up here that I've had to pull apart. I had to get this massive thing out of the way. It's number 3 and 4, which are not that easy to get to. It's, let's see, where's my light? So if you look back in there, you look down, let's see if I can get this. You look down there, there's what's left of the glow plug, and they actually tried tapping it out and pulling it out to no avail. That's number 3. And there and back in there, that guy right there. Come on, come on. Right there, that guy right there is number 4. I think that's the one they tried tapping out. But I had to get all this stuff out of the way to get to the stinking thing. So what I have to do is actually drill out the threads in the block. Cut new threads, basically cut out the old threads, not really cut new threads, just trace the existing threads. Get rid of the existing threads, tap what's left of this guy, basically from the threads down. I'll tap the inside of that, and I have this kit, 45, 50 bucks on Amazon. So basically what it is you pick the appropriate size drill bit, 8 mil or 10 mil. You mark how far down your threads broke off, mark it on here, set it inside this guy for depth, and drill out the threads, and then you use a tap and die, to cut all these extra little threads out, and then you drill this guy with, actually this guy will be an open hole when you're done because, well, you can't see it, because this is gone. So then you thread this, and then you use the puller with one of these guys to pull it out. I'm still working out how to do this because there's no instructions with this thing, but I've seen a couple videos online and it looks pretty straightforward. So that's what's going on in my world. I thought I'd show you guys this because they wanted to pull the head off. It's basically doing a head gasket, which is $3 or $4 grand on that thing, and send it to a machine shop to have them reverse, basically flip it upside down and bore it out backwards from the inside of the motor out. So yeah, $50 glow plug turns into a $3,000 head gasket. So I'm trying to minimize the possibility of that happening by doing this. And so if you didn't know, this little rod actually is in the inside of the glow plug. So you might be asking, how is it you're not going to get metal shavings into the cylinder? Well, this piece right here is actually still intact, as is this. And the The shop actually cut this piece here. Where is it? Right there. And they had to put this in a press to get that little piece of metal to move. So long story short is, as long as this piece here is in the block, any portion of this, all the way down to the bottom here, any portion of that, you cannot get past this to get shavings into the block. So that's how that's supposed to work. Wish me luck, guys. You're not going to believe what just happened. So I set up the drill bit, got it set up in the drill, started drilling out the threads from the old glow plug, and it actually was perfect. It has that little tip that lines up in the hole. It aligns perfectly, and I started getting to the very end. I taped off how much I needed on the end of the tip so I didn't go too deep, and all of a sudden the drill starts wobbling. I'm like, oh no, you're never gonna guess. It actually pulled out the old glow plug. You can see I have the bit right there taped off, and the last bit of threads came out, and this thing started spinning kind of kitty wampus and pulled right out. So I was taking a magnet. I'll show you guys. So I have this little magnet with a light on the end that as I was drilling, I was pulling the filings off and blowing them off. And if you look down in there, that is a clean hole, baby. That was the easy one. I think the one behind it is nasty, but we're gonna see what happens. So that's one down, guys. One down. I'm stoked. So that's what it pulled out, guys. There's the drill bit right there. It drilled out the threads, and there's the new one, obviously. And it took this whole piece out. I didn't have to drill this and tap it. I think the next one I might. But holy crap, I am stoked. I'm gonna make sure this guy goes in and threads. But yeah, one down, one to go. Just when you think it's going great, if you look, the guide part actually broke off inside there. It's right in there. My guess is there is part of this still somewhere in here, and I probably should have drilled this out first to make sure it was clean. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Try to get that piece out, and then maybe go in with the smaller one, and then hopefully that once that's cut, I can bump up to the next one without that little guide tip, or I'll just run off of 3 glow plugs. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Stay tuned. All right, update. So I broke the tip of this guy off in the glow plug, and I can't drill beyond it until I get it out. I've tried everything. I've tried extractors and needle nose, and I don't even know what else. What I had to do, let's see if I can go take this outside where you guys can see it. What I had to do, there's the piece. So that used to be on the end of that. If you can see, I had to grind down my Harbor Freight needle nose pliers, and it was actually able to grab right in the groove on either side and pull this thing out. So what I've done, what I'm going to try to do is step this up. So I have another bit, where is it, right here, same style. It has the same size guide, but it cuts different size threads. So I'm going to try to step this up to the correct size until I get to the size that I had, and then hopefully that goes in straight, because that's the issue, is getting this cockeyed will cut into the head, and then your glow plug's not going in. So what I did is I started with a 3/16 and drilled down in, and there was something biting in there, and I don't know what it was. So I cleared that out until this went in smooth, and now I'm going to start drilling this out to the proper depth. I have to mark this again, tape it off, and then drill this to the proper depth, and then start opening the hole, hoping that each drill bit I put in there that's a 1/16 larger or a 32nd larger, whatever I have it on my index, will go straight. So fingers crossed, guys. Well, guys, as you can see, the Isuzu is back together. And as you can probably also see, it is flipping cold out. The day after I got this thing put together, we dropped down to the single digits and got about 5 inches of snow. So it's been cold the last couple days. It's October, not even Halloween yet. This is crazy. But as you can see, she's back together. And yes, I will spare you the suspense. And I was able to get the 4th glow plug out, and I actually threw them out because I had already put together a couple videos showing what I had done, and somehow I had lost the videos. So I'm going to explain what I did, but long story short is it runs, and I am stoked, and it's fixed, and I didn't cut or break anything on the motor, and I can't say how grateful I am that this thing got together and is the way it's supposed to be. So let me show you what I did and explain what happened. It is in fact so cold out, I've started a fire, and yeah, it feels great. Anyway, so here's the kit, and let's see. Here is the 10mm bit that is meant to drill out the threads of the glow plug so you can actually get to the glow plug itself and tap it with a smaller tap, and then, well, drill it and tap it if you have to, and then thread it and pull it with a puller, which I did not have to do. Both of mine actually pulled out. So number 3 came out pretty surprisingly well. The 10mm drill bit with the tip intact, guided down into the glow plug, drilled out the threads, and then this tip grabbed the glow plug and pulled it all out, as I showed you guys. Unfortunately, what was lost in transmitting files from my camera to my computer was the video that showed what happened next. And what happened next was, after breaking this off and getting this guy out of the threads, I was like, well, I'll just work on getting the 8mm, take my index and step it up. Well, that worked to a point until the tip of the 8mm broke off in the glow plug. So the tip of the 10mm I could get with this tip file down on my needle nose. This tip was all the way inside the glow plug, even further down, and I had no idea how I was going to get this out. And I tried everything, and what I ended up doing was grinding down the whole nose. I don't know if you can see that or not, the whole nose of the needle nose, so I could get down in there and get this little bit again on the flute, on that part of the flute. It's crazy. It grabbed the flute and pulled the entire glow plug out. I got so lucky. I don't know how I got that thing out. I guess a little tenacity helps. But for 45 bucks, this thing saved my butt. And the only thing I had to figure out was the 10mm bit that they sent with it is 1.0 threads. And what I did is actually get a nut that fit on my glow plug, which is a 10mm 1.25 threads. So this was too fine, and I had to get into my tap and die set and grab a 10mm by 1.25 and clean the threads out to get the glow plugs to go in. But all in all, guys, for 45 bucks, this kit has been a lifesaver. My other choice would have been obviously a head gasket, and after looking at this, I could have left before I drilled the threads out. I would have been okay leaving the non-functioning glow plugs in place and driving it until I had time to jack around with it or tear it apart and send it to a machine shop. So worst case scenario, it would have been a bugger to start in the wintertime, which is obviously starting here now, and I have to have it for the next 4 months while it's cold, or 5 months, whatever it is. So it's kind of imperative to get it fixed, but I suspect it would have started most of the time reasonably well. The couple times I had to start it with the 2 glow plugs, it wasn't happy. It would just chug along until it warmed up a little bit and then get going. But it got down to, I think, 7 degrees the other night, and I came out the next morning and started it. Glow plug did its glow plug light, stayed on, went off, started the truck, fired right up. So I'm stoked. Again, I cannot believe that I was able to get everything out and get this thing repaired. After doing it, I have to say it was relatively easy, and these drill bits with a little guide tip on the end make it pretty effortless as long as everything goes well. And if you take your time and just really be cautious about drilling out just the threads on the glow plug, you really should have no problem getting these things out. So hope you guys like the video, and I promise the next one is gonna be about this guy for sure. I haven't done a whole lot in the last 6 months on this thing because work has been nuts, but I have been doing some small projects, and I will be sharing those with you guys shortly, since work has slowed down just a little bit and I've actually gotten a little time to start working on these videos. So thanks for your patience, and I hope this video was helpful for somebody that is trying not to spend $3 grand on a head gasket, or trying to get a glow plug out, and this makes a difference. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys.